Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today's February 19th, and right now we are looking at the infrared satellite imagery here. You can see the big ridge of high pressure dominating the Pacific Ocean for the last few days here. This is going to continue its trek back towards the west here and allow for some very cold air to move down over the region here. We'll go over some of the details here, as well as some big mountain snow, some strong winds, and the possible for a little bit of lowland snow as we go through the next week here. And we'll take a look at the extended forecast as well. Looks like things are going to remain active all the way towards early March. So we'll take a look at that towards the end of the video coming up. This is 48-hour snowfall forecast just issued by the National Weather Service Seattle. Look at some of the big snowfall totals coming up here as you go on in through the day. Tuesday shown there. Big snows for the north central Cascades there. So quality past 8 to 12 inches. Or look at Paradise getting plastered there as well. Nothing expected for the lowlands by the time we go on into Tuesday here. Things could change a little bit as we go into Wednesday. We'll take a look at some of those details coming up. This is National Weather Service Boise out here. You can see some pretty big gusts, especially across some of the higher terrain there as well. John Day, Grandview Mountain Home out there, Jerome, Twin Falls. So this is mainly on for Monday evening through Tuesday morning shown here. Is this low pressure system is going to move across in front of the Arctic air that's sagging south across the area, and we'll show that here in the weather maps in a moment. This is Medford, Oregon here. You can see Monday night through Tuesday, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, some possible high impact weather coming down there. Numerous showers, cold and breezy, snow levels down to the lower west side valley floors, mountain snow, moderate to heavy. So watch out, big travel impacts going across some of the area down there across southwest Oregon. Now, this is peak winds in miles per hour. This is National Weather Service Spokane shown here. Look at some of these gusts, 50 for Wenatchee, Ellensburg up towards 45, Moses Lake 50 out there. So watch out, especially across some of the higher terrain as well, going across eastern Washington. Nice graphic here from the National Weather Service. And you can see this kind of westerly, southwesterly flow here. It's going to get reversed as the Arctic air takes over the region here. And we're going to bring some strong northeasterly winds here. So big wind reversal here coming up as we go on in through Wednesday and on in through later this week. This is on in through Montana here. You know, significant snowfall coming for much of the state coming up here. This is mainly focusing on the Billings forecast office here, but there are big impacts coming here, folks. Big chance of 4+ inches of snow and even 8+ inches of snow for some areas. So heads up at your local National Weather Service offices if you are out across the area, especially east of the Rockies out there and the higher terrain across Montana, Idaho as well. Now, looking at this is a European ensemble as of last night, 500 millibar height. You put this into motion here, and you can see this cold air just carving out across Pacific Northwest here. It's going to make its way down across Oregon, all the way down through California here as well. We'll take a look at the extended forecast also here coming up. You can clearly see this polar lobe opening up across Pacific Northwest. But as you guys know, this is no guarantee for lowland snowfall across some of the Seattle and Portland metro. Things still have to line up right. We'll take a look at some of those details here in a moment. NAM 12KM, this is hot off the presses, the 12Z run. Put this into motion here, and you can see carving out that trough, pretty similar to the European, actually bringing a little bit more colder air across the area here as well. But they're kind of lining up at least a bit here as we go on in through Wednesday shown here. More on that here in a moment. This is the GFS. We're just kind of comparing model runs here. You can see the agreement there as we go on into Wednesday with that polar lobe opening up across Pacific Northwest here as well. And then you can actually see the GFS kind of keep that cold air around with this low pressure development somewhere across Northwest Oregon here. More on that here in a moment as well. Don't mean to keep you hanging here, but we got a lot to cover. Now, taking a look here, this is last night's European run. Now, as the Arctic air sags south, it develops a low pressure system that traverses underneath the south side of it here. And then you can see the cold air start to sag across Alberta, British Columbia here. And the low pressure center is here on the European ensemble. It tries to locate all of them there. This is the combination of all 50 runs here. But you can see the good agreement with the low pressure center hanging up somewhere right across Northwest Oregon here by the time you go into Wednesday morning. So you might be dealing with some lowland snowfall across the Portland metro here, southwest Washington. We're going to watch this closely. Some of the models are showing some decent snowfall amounts down there. Again, this time of year, temperatures are going to be marginal here, but if the timing is right and it happens on early Wednesday morning, you could see some accumulations all the way down pretty low here across some of the Willamette Valley coming up here. And you can kind of see the good model agreement on that low clustering there. As we go out a little bit further, you can see that low kind of meander and take its time as it goes down towards California there through later on next week. Now taking a look here, total snow 10-to-1 ratio. This is last night's European run. Put that into motion. Big snows coming for the mountains, no doubt about that. Down through the Oregon Cascades, Rocky Mountains there as well. Then as we go on into Wednesday, you can kind of see the Willamette Valley filling in there a bit with that low pressure center hanging out right there. You're going to get some better cooling and bring that snow level down a bit lower than you will here across the Puget Sound. You're also going to have better precipitation chances here across this area. So you're going to be dealing with maybe some lowland snowfall here. Don't want to get the hopes up too high just yet. You know, we got a couple days to go here, but it's kind of trending that way here for portions of western Oregon as you go on into Thursday shown here. And you can see, yeah, some big snowfall amounts all the way out to the coastal range here down across Oregon, the Olympic Mountains there as well as some lowland snowfall possible across eastern Washington here too, which would include some blowing snow depending on just how much you get. But Spokane, some of the Blue Mountains out there, the Rocky Mountains, Lookout Pass, big snows incoming. Now you can see here 2-meter temperature anomaly, and I just wanted to kind of show you the model's been doing really good here. You know, we've been watching this over the last few days. You can see the cold air is coming here, folks. So going in through Thursday morning, we're going to be pretty darn chilly here across Pacific Northwest. You can see some areas down towards 30 degrees Celsius below normal here, and you can see that hang out for Friday morning, Saturday morning shown there as well, or actually Friday night is where this ends, but that will continue on into Saturday morning there. But yeah, pretty chilly air coming up here, and we may not be done with it on through early March. More on that here in a moment. This is Seattle-Tacoma. Here's the 1-inch line there. Most of the ensembles have less than. The control actually has, you know, maybe just a skiff or maybe just some flakes in the air there, but the mean is generally around, you know, probably less than half an inch there. Not a great setup here for the Seattle Metro snow-wise. Portland International Airport here, a little bit better chance. Look at the ensemble mean up towards 2 inches there as you go on in through Wednesday night. Shown there, the control has generally less than an inch there. And you know, it's tough to get snow down into the Willamette Valley here. As you guys know, across Oregon this year, I've been talking to a lot of you in the messages here, and sometimes I forget to mention that versus Seattle. Seems like Seattle, you know, more often than not ends up the snow winter here, but sometimes these systems, like in this case, could favor western Oregon. Now taking a look here, we're looking at Eugene. Look at this. The ensemble and the control are up towards 4 inches here. Depending on where this low sets up, no place is safe in the Willamette Valley as far as getting snowfall. So don't want to get the hopes up too much just yet, but the potential is there right now. We'll continue to watch this over the next couple of days. You can see this doesn't really start coming on until the day Wednesday. Now this is looking at Spokane International Airport. Check it out. You could get a couple inches of snow out there as well. Pretty good model agreement for that coming on in through Tuesday night into Wednesday also. This is Stampede Pass. Of course, much bigger snowfall totals across the mountain areas. You can see all the ensembles agree for at least 10 inches by the time you get on to Tuesday night there. So be prepared for the winter driving conditions across Highway 2 I-90 White Pass down there as well. Now looking at Mount Baker ski area, look at the ensemble and the mean are up towards 30 inches by the time you get into Tuesday night here coming up. So big snow's coming. It's going to be pretty darn right stormy there up there on Monday night too as well. As that low pressure system moves by, some strong winds across the higher terrain. Really going to make for a crazy scene out there. Crystal Mountain, big snowfall incoming here as well. All ensembles are in agreement here by the time you get towards Tuesday night. Now, taking a look here, this is Walla Walla, actually expecting maybe a little bit of snowfall out there as well. Some places in eastern Washington that normally don't get too much snow could pick up a couple inches out of this system here. Again, we will watch this day by day as we go. We still have a couple days to go before things can change. Now, this is looking at 100-meter wind speed. This is the European as of last night, 06Z run. You get some westerly flow going down here on in through tonight across the region here. Relaxes a bit, but then the bigger winds come. As you can see, as we go on in through Monday afternoon, Monday night, big westerly surge down the Strait of Juan de Fuca. It's going to include Whidbey Island there. Could get to the coastline here as well. Strong westerlies, onshore flow. Could be some convergent zone activity as we go on in through the day Tuesday. Big mountain snows going on by this point. Strong winds up through the Puget Sound as well. At least some gusts up towards 40 miles per hour have been showing up in the model runs here. Now watch what happens as we go on in through the afternoon Tuesday. You'll see the westerlies still going by Tuesday afternoon. And then quite a rapid reversal here as we turn the northeasterly winds and start to pour that Arctic air off the continent here. And look what's going on here. And this is what the model's been picking up on and why the Willamette Valley has a chance for some snowfall. You can see that circulation here with a low pressure center there, northwest Oregon coastline, moving down across Willamette Valley. This thing hangs out there with this Arctic air feeding it there and precipitation falling. You could bring that snow level down pretty low across western Oregon shown there. And now let's back up a little bit here. I want to show you the strong winds coming across eastern Washington here also as we go on in through Monday night into Tuesday morning shown here. And then watch the wind reversal occurring for them also. Some strong northeasterly winds coming across eastern Washington down into Oregon here as we go on in through the Wednesday afternoon period. But that upper level low is what we're really watching here west of the Cascades. Where is this going to set up here? And right now it looks like western Oregon is favored. Now, taking a look here, this is 100-meter wind speed according to the NAM, the 3 km high-resolution model. Put that into motion, see the good, strong winds for the higher terrain as we go on in through Monday morning shown here. Now, watch the low-pressure center come and traverse underneath the Arctic high as we go. Strong winds down the Strait of Juan de Fuca there. Some gusty winds up the Puget Sound. Also, convergent zone activity. Big mountain snows going on in through Monday night into Tuesday morning here. We start to relax the gradient some, and you can see the northerly flow come ripping out across the continent here. Strong outflow winds by the time you get on into Tuesday afternoon here, according to the NAM 3KM, and then it's going to start to form that low pressure center here. In fact, why don't we do this as well? Let's click on the NAM 12-kilometer model here, and we'll do 10-meter wind speed and see if we can pick up on that low pressure center here on the lower resolution NAM. And there it is. You can kind of see it hanging out right near Portland there in the Willamette Valley as you go on in through Wednesday morning. You can clearly see the spin in the 10-meter winds there, just kind of hanging out a bit too. That could bring some measurable snowfall for the Willamette Valley again. Now, this is just a quick look here at last night's European run. This is 10-meter wind gust. Accumulated max wind gusts, and you can see some big gusts across Whidbey Island there, 58 miles per hour, maybe up towards 60 miles per hour as well. 40 for Seattle, Tacoma there. Bigger winds up towards Camano Island out there also, maybe Marysville included. But yeah, big winds across the higher terrain as well. Now, taking a look here one more time at that low pressure center. We've been talking about it here. So watch what happens. That this traverses that Arctic high there, pretty strong low pressure there, bringing a strong westerly surge by this time down the Strait of Juan de Fuca there. Gusty winds, Puget Sound, like we mentioned. Then the troughing kind of hangs out here, and you can see that low pressure center just kind of hang over northwest Oregon there. Excuse me. And that's what we've been talking about there. This video here talking about that lowland snow potential there for western Oregon. So now looking at Seattle, Tacoma, you can see the ensemble members there, about 40 miles per hour, about average there. This is for Port Angeles out there. You can see some nice westerly surges, downgraded a little bit here, but still some gusts into the 50-mile-per-hour range are possible here coming down the Strait of Juan de Fuca. Look at Friday Harbor here. Check out this westerly wind here and then the northeasterly outflow wind as we go here. So big wind reversal there. You're going to notice that as you go through the night Monday here and then on through the daytime as you get in towards Wednesday. This is Orcas Island, same thing. They're strong westerlies, southwesterlies blasting down the Strait of Juan de Fuca there. Then the offshore winds as we go on into Wednesday shown there. Mount Baker, as that system moves by, like I mentioned, those big winds across the higher terrain as you go on in through Monday and Monday night. This is Whidbey Island, that strong westerly surge. A lot of these gusts well up into the 50-plus mile per hour range. 60 mile per hour gusts probably not out of the question as well. And this is what we've been looking at the last few days. You can see the risk of hazardous temperature is going to get pretty chilly here across the Pacific Northwest. Risk of heavy precipitation exists all the way on in through March. Risk of heavy snow includes the Cascades all the way down through the Siskiyous, the Intermountain West, including Idaho and Montana also. And this is risk of high winds, possible here with any one of these systems coming out in through early March. We'll watch those one at a time. 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, 8 to 14, 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook here. And then we're going to look at the extended forecast now. This is yesterday afternoon's European ensemble control run here. So here we go with that ridge backing up. There goes our polar lobe that we're dealing with here. And it hangs out off the coast of California for a while, and we remain kind of in this northwesterly flow. And then potentially another strong system rolling through here next weekend. Also, trough remains open across the west coast of North America. And then some more cold air could arrive after that. If you're looking way out into fantasy land here and you just want to kind of see what's possibly out there, you can see that ridging kind of hanging out off here, Pacific North American negative oscillation territory here. As you can see, the troughing hanging on along the west coast of North America all the way on into early March here. So La Nina is not going quietly here, folks. This is the classic La Nina pattern here with ridging over the Aleutians in the Pacific Ocean, allowing this northwesterly flow and this cooler air across the region here. We are probably going to remain below average well on into early March here across Pacific Northwest. So anyway, yeah, Lots going on here. We'll watch this closely over the next couple of days. That low pressure system there looks like it's setting up over northwest Oregon here. We'll continue to monitor that too. We'll try to pinpoint some of these lowland snow totals here and try to go over some of the probabilities of this actually happening for some of the Willamette Valley here. You still can't rule out some snowfall across western Washington, southwest BC yet as well. And plus, we're going to have potential systems after that that could be interacting with that Arctic air that will be in place possibly. And, we'll kind of see how that goes. But big mountain snows are coming here. Strong winds on Monday night, especially down the Strait of Juan de Fuca, some of the Puget Sound area and the higher terrain as well. So anyway, hope you guys are liking these videos. As always, we'll do this again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.